Hey, it's Friendo here, and I just got up and I watched the Thunderfoot versus Eric Hovind debate from the Reason Rally, and there were a couple of thoughts that I wanted to get out while they're still in my head. This may just be meandering nothing, but feel free to let me know what you think. Um, the issue of knowledge, I think, is central to this debate because to me it's very clear what Thunderfoot means when he talks about knowing things, but is not very clear what Eric Hovind means when he talks about knowledge. To begin with, Thunderfoot is an empiricist, and from his point of view, that is what is necessary for science, where Eric Hovind is looking at a set of more internal conditionality. But I want to address the issue of empiricism because it occurs to me that in the subject of observation, we do not typically include content of sensation. Um, I guess you could say it's like this fundamental millennial divide between the concept of feeling and reason, that knowledge comes from observation. More importantly, understanding comes from reason. And if we take the word observation and change it to information, so knowledge comes from information, then we have to acknowledge that all sensation brings us information. It's not simply a matter of looking at things, that direct observation that brings us information. At a personal level, many of the things that we know occur through intrinsic thought processes. So as Socrates used slaves with no formal education, no training, he asked them questions, interrogated them to prove that they understand geometry, which was believed at the time to be the highest form of reason, of pure rationality. And we can understand that's true because the trigonometric and geometric functions that we exercise on a daily basis occur in our midbrain, not in our forebrain where our reasoning faculties are. But understanding that they occur metacognitively is something that requires the forebrain, is something that requires language, something that requires reason. But when we do come to an understanding of something through more synesthetic processes, it feels that something profound has happened. We use the word epiphany to describe this because it is the sensation of understanding something, when it's not just a logical thought process going to its pure conclusion, but information from other parts of your brain are being incorporated in your consciousness. And I think that is kind of the source of the divide here in understanding what knowledge is. Because we could say that knowledge that occurs through this purely step-by-step deductive process can be looked at objectively, but knowledge that occurs through a inductive process, or knowledge that involves other sensory apparatus, is not objective. It is knowledge that can only be debated on its content, not the merits of the process, because we achieved this intuitively. But we can't say that it's not knowledge. We can't say that information that occurs through sensation is not acceptable, that it can't be discussed or debated philosophically. So while I don't really agree with with Eric Hovind, I have to say that I think this is a critical misunderstanding in Thunderfoot's epistemology. I mean, he's honest in saying these are the assumptions that I'm making, and after making any set of assumptions, then you can deduce outward from there. You can operate under this thought process that gets you objective results. You can actually measure step by step, and if it doesn't get you what you thought it did, you can reverse the process to find exactly at what step it has gone awry. And yes, that is the strength of the rational, information-based approach. But there is also the sensational, information-based approach. And the reason that's important is because we're discussing belief. We're discussing what people are personally invested in. And it's also fair to say Thunderfoot is not wholly detached and objective. He is personally involved in the arguments that he makes, in the agenda that he pursues. It involves personal sensation, likes and dislikes, trust and distrust, disgust. And he's not being entirely honest in terms of the process that he's undergoing if he discounts that content, if he doesn't stop and address what are the fundamental sensationalistic information that I'm relying on or that others are relying on. So anyway, like I said, that's kind of, those are the thoughts that came to mind watching that video. I'm not really sure how to sum that up, but limitations of empiricism.